And hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 27 of Shooting the Shit with Jim. I am your host, Jim. And with me this week is my very, very special first-time guest, Davey Dark, all the way from the UK, from the Forgotten Horror Channel. How are you, sir?
Hello, my friend. Thanks for having me along, brother. My goodness. Apart from the heat, which we were talking about I'm doing all right. I'm looking forward to this. It's different for me, this. So, hello, everybody out there in the States. I mean, amazing. I feel like I'm there with you now.
Yeah. Well, we talked a little bit before the show started. It's actually warmer where you're at than where I am, by a couple of degrees. But unfortunately, like I said, you don't have the AC like we do. So my heart goes out to you. You can when you're cold, it's easier to warm up than it is to cool off when you're hot. You know what I mean?
I prefer the winters and I prefer the fall and that sort of era, that sort of seasons like Halloween and times. October, November, I love them seasons here with the trees change, everything gets a nice colour, everything starts to die off, and it gets a bit more palatable, fresher, and that's good. But the heat, I'm not a fan of.
Yeah, I hear you. Okay, now real quickly before we get into the show proper, because we already have 10 people in the audience, which is awesome.
Hi, guys.
I do want to say hello to a couple of people in the
you go for it. These are your people.
So first and foremost, we have Dan, my good friend Dan from Mr. Dan in Horror. Thank you so much for being here. And Dan actually he pinned a comment today on my Instagram. You were the very first person to leave a comment on his channel way back when.
Me?
And he says yes. And he says that he has never forgotten that. So that is an awesome connection. So I'm sure he's thanking you, and that's awesome. So
the thing is, I appreciate everybody and anybody, no matter what opinion they've got. I'm always open-minded. If people don't like what I like, that's fine. If I don't like what they like, but I championship them as well. I'll give everybody a crack of the whip, mate. I've got no beef with anybody. I think it's just fun.
Yeah. No, Dan's a great guy.
Life's too short, yeah.
And there's Texas. Hey, Texas, how are you doing, my friend? He's one of my regulars as well. And speaking of Texas, I'll plug Texas's channel real quick. This evening, I believe, Texas is doing a live watch-along. It's a surprise movie for a very good friend of his named Moonbeam. It's her birthday. Moonbeam. So
happy birthday to Moonbeam, yeah.
And I hope everybody goes over there tonight and shows Texas and her some love. So
yeah.
And like I said, Texas is a great guy. He's been on there a couple of times. He's been on the show with Sean and Kenny and I. He's one of my favorites. So Greg is here. Hey, Greg,
I always watch from afar. You know what I mean? I enjoy putting on your show in the background and I'm listening to what you're saying. And because some of the things that you come out with, I'm like, wow. It's always like an education for me. You know what I mean? Because
I appreciate that.
But yeah, it's because it's like different culture over there. So it's like,
right.
I like listening to what you guys grew up with and what you guys are into, no matter what genre it is. Mm-hmm. I always like listen to what you guys in the States always say, because I've always found the States fascinating. You know what I mean? Because before the internet, we were cut off from the entire world. I don't know if it was the same for you guys over there, because I think we touched on this on the Salem's Lot stream on ours, didn't we? Where before the internet, we were all cut off, and us. For me, in the UK, in a small northern town in the UK, I didn't know what was coming out in the world next. All I had was like the old VHSs and what was on at the cinemas. So I've always been fascinated with you guys and always envious because you guys seem to have all the cool stuff and we never had nothing. You know what I mean?
Well, I do know that when, especially back then, not as much now, but way back then, you guys would get movies 6-9 months after we would. They would be
sometimes.
They'd already be on cable TV by the time that they would show up over there in the cinema. So
Halloween got shown over there in the end of '79 on the cinema. End of '79.
Wow!
And by the time it got to VHS, Halloween 2 was coming out over there for you guys. So it was like enough a year's release before. I mean, those were all movies to you guys, and they were brand new for us, and we were like,
right.
But we were getting all sorts of cut versions as well. So
yeah, we're going to get into that in a little bit.
Sure, we will.
Kevin is here all the way from Lakeland, Florida. Thank you so much for being here, my friend.
Hi, Kevin.
Let's see. Oh, here we go. Physical media collector Adam is here. Hello, Adam. Hi, Jim.
Hey, Adam.
JP, all in the chat. Hope you're all doing well. Here's to another great stream. Thank you so much, Adam. I appreciate it. Adam's here every show. Every show. He's a great guy. Last time's guest, Alan, is here. Hello, Alan from Physical Media Lives. Have a great time.
Davey, nice guy. Hands. Nice guy, Alan. Yeah.
Yeah, Alan was a fantastic guest last time. He really was.
I saw that show. It was a great show, that, mate. Alan's a great guy.
And Buccaneer is here. Hello. Thank you so much for being here as well.
Hey, Steve.
And Melina is here. Hello, Melina. Some movie stars are college dropouts. Yes, we always do. Oh, Gareth is here. Hello, Gareth. Does
Gareth, video tasted.
James Furman.
Mr. Western Superman himself was asking the questions already, Jimmy. James Furman, our mate James.
And Juno is there. Hey, Juno, how you doing, buddy?
Hi, Juno.
Juno was killing us last week with some of his questions and comments. It was great. He's a great guy. Yeah. People saying hello back and forth to each other. Oh, here we go. Neither one of us can stand this guy. Oh, don't let anybody in here. Hello, Carlos. How you doing, buddy? Thank you so much for being here, my friend.
Yeah,
we're going to be mentioning Carlos in a little bit because we've got some business to take care of here. Let's see here. Kevin's wishing Moonbeam a happy birthday, and Carlos hit that like button. Thank you so much, Carlos. As always, you're one of the best, buddy. Always one of the best. Dan says, I will be catching a replay of Gareth's interview with Chris Van Dam later. Yeah, I saw that, Gareth. Great job on that, by the way. And Gareth, if you're still on, excellent getting Sybil Danning on there. I was shocked. I didn't even know about that until you were already 10 minutes into the interview, and I was like, oh, I've been in love with that woman for years. So
Howling 2.
Dun, dun, dun.
That's all I can remember of Howling 2 was Sybil Danning.
30 seconds of that movie is spectacular. The rest of it's garbage. And Pete's here. Hey, Pete, how you doing? Too hot to do anything, so begrudgingly watching you.
Don't blame me,
Pete. I appreciate that. Okay, let's get into the show proper like we're supposed to here. How did you start on YouTube?
Oh, wow. That's well, back I was a dinosaur, Jim. Before I had this channel now, I used to have another one. And it was well over 10 years ago. Probably about 15 years ago. When I first came onto YouTube, it was nothing like it is now. There was none of this going on. There was a few people that are connected to. They were showing the collections, and I thought, okay, I've got a couple of things like masks and all stuff. That stuff's long gone now. Mm-hmm. So I thought, well, I was watching my good friend Donny Cinemaniac 77 from Holland, Amsterdam. He lives over there. I was an avid watcher of his collections, and he was showing his Halloweens and his Texas Chainsaws. But he was like you, he was into all genres, Jim. You know what I mean? So, like you, it's an education listening to what he thought and the movies that he picked up. It was an education for me, and I thought, well, if he can do this, I'll try it myself. And I showed a few masks, so I had my old channel, and it did okay. Because it was still a fairly new sort of platform back then.
Right.
YouTube used to be able to change the colors of your fonts and your writing, and you could put your own backgrounds on, and you could use the music without being copyright strike. There was none of that back then. And then they called it the grey over, which the format that we know now sort of come into place. So you couldn't change your formats. So that was back in about 2015, something like that, 2014. So I started my channel, and it grew a little bit, and I got into a community, and sadly, most of them have gone now. A lot of the community that I grew up with have left YouTube. And then, I don't know if your viewers remember, but Google Plus partnered up with YouTube for a while there. That's about 10 years ago now. Unfortunately, you were forced to have a Google Plus account as well. Now, me and my infinite wisdom of technology, I got a second account. I had my old safe and secure one account with all my videos on, but I got a duplicate account with nothing on it, but still safe and secure. So I thought, well, I don't need that because it was hooked into Google Plus. So me being the genius, I deleted it. And what I'd really done was deleted my whole channel.
You deleted everything.
And that was it. And I was absolutely gutted because, especially now when I look back, I'd love to see some of my old videos because they were filmed on a crappy phone. And it was really bad. But the masks and stuff that I used to have was pretty good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And some of the stuff that I showed was pretty good. So I came back on, I got another account and I was only watching then because I was gutted that I got rid of all my videos. And it was only six years ago now, I'd say. It was only 6 years ago I started coming back on as Forgotten Horror Channel. That name came about by another friend of mine who was on YouTube years ago. He's not there, but I always said that there was YouTubers at the time doing this horror YouTuber of the month. I don't know if anybody remembers that. That was a thing from years ago. And I said to him flippantly, I said, we're the forgotten ones. They don't mention our horror channels. And I thought, oh, that's a great name for a title, is the Forgotten Horror Channel. So I thought, okay. So I looked on YouTube to see if there was any forgotten horror channels out there, and there wasn't. Now, there's a couple of great guys in Canada called Frightfully Forgotten Horror, and they've been around a while. So I watched them, but it wasn't the Forgotten Horror. So I thought, so I'll just come on, and I made me skull and that. My Mrs. Mate Jilly made me skull and that. So that was the logo. And then I did a few videos as the Forgotten Horror Channel, and then podcasts came into it. People became into podcasts, and that was a new thing. So a lot of jumped on them. So I did a podcast with an ex-friend of mine, and that was okay for a while, but things went a bit south. You know, it run its course, and that was that. So then I was just going to go solo again. And then our friend Carlos comes along and reintroduces me to a couple of communities and to get me out there. And I do the Horror Movies Memories podcast with Carlos in between doing my VHS stuff. So, yeah, so it was thanks to Carlos, really, because he resurrected. Because after the first podcast ended, I didn't really want to do another podcast. I was like, oh, I don't want to be handcuffed in that sort of way. But, I mean, Carlos has got a peculiar charm to him. And I've known Carlos a long time, so he was the right person to drag me out of the rut that I was in to get out. He said to me, come on, you need to start doing some more stuff. So that's where I am today.
The reason why we're doing this show right now is because of Carlos, because he was on my ass. I kind of quit for a while, okay?
Yeah.
And then my mom passed away, and he was the first one to say, other than, you know, hey, my sympathies, was like, when are you going to get back on the horse? And he was not needling me, but he was giving me just enough to be like, you know what?
He touches your pressure points, doesn't he?
Yeah. And thank God, because like I said, I love doing this show. It's the highlight of my week when I do it. So yeah, Carlos is the best. He's a great guy.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have your earliest memory of going to a cinema and seeing a movie?
Yes.
Doesn't matter what it was.
Yes, I do.
What is it?
Well, there's two very, very close now. You guys out there might be able to help me because I don't know which one was released first. The two big ones, one was Star Wars Return of the Jedi, when that first came out.
83.
Yeah. And then Jaws 3 in 3D was the other one. They were my first ones because I didn't have many cinemas in my area at that time, if you could believe it or not. I didn't have many. I'd have to go to different towns to try and get to a cinema. And at that point, it was just like scarce that people would want to go to the cinema, believe it or not. especially what was out. But Star Wars caused a bit of a buzz, as you can imagine. So that was huge. Even in the UK, it was huge. All the toys and the figures.
Oh,
It
yeah.
was a huge business. So I was never a fan of Star Wars, but I thought, a friend and his nan and a couple of others, a big gang of them, said, "Oh, we're going to a place called Warrington. Do you want to come to the cinema?" Oh, I jumped on it. You know what I mean? Oh, yeah, of course, yeah. And I watched that. About 10.
Okay. Yeah, that's
about
perfect
10.
age. That's
I was about 10 to see that. But then around the same time, Jaws 3D with 3D glasses had just come out.
Yeah.
So I went to see that with the same people. Again, the age rating in the UK is different to the US. You could see Driller Killer and Chainsaw Massacre with a parent. We had to be 18 to see that. Well, they banned it, which we'll talk about. But Jaws 3, yeah,
that was PG here.
My mate, I think it was a 15 in the UK if it was going to be first released, and then I think it was borderline a PGA. But my mate's nan already bought the tickets, so she just shoved us through the door. So we got to see Jaws 3 in 3D, and we were only 10, so there was no way we'd pass for 15. And we watched it with her. That again, so that was my two very, very first films I ever watched on the cinema. It was for both different reasons. Jaws for being Jaws, and the Return of the Jedi for being the phenomenal juggernaut that was Star Wars.
Spectacle.
And that out of all the Star Wars films, Return of the Jedi will still be my favorite one because I saw it on the big screen when it first came out, and I loved it. I thought it was a great film.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Great film.
Jedi's great. I love all three of those original Star Wars.
Oh, absolutely.
The rest of them are hit and miss at best.
Just the three, yeah.
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 How about video? Do you remember the first videotape you rented or saw?
There was almost a brawl between my mum and dad. My mum had gone out because video shops come around in my town in around 1980. So all the video shops independent video shops started stocking the movies from around 1980 onwards. And my mum come out. My mum said, "Oh, we had to rent. We didn't own our TV or VCR. We had to rent one." Like a lot of people in the UK at that time in the very early 80s, no one could afford a VCR. No one could afford a TV. We had to change the TV because it had a SCART socket and no one knew what to do. So we had to rent. Honestly, we had to rent the whole deal. And we're talking mahogany trim TVs, which would weigh 10,000 kilograms, and it were on wheels. And if the house had subsidence like ours did, the TV would roll. So we'd be watching the film rolling, literally rolling. And then my mum would be like, "John, get up and grab the TV." So we'd get up because there was no remote. There was no remote control. We only had maybe 3 channels to watch. So we'd be like trying to tie down the TV to the floor so it didn't roll. But anyway, it was a JVC top loader. And I swear down, brother, as soon as you press the eject button, it would have shot you to the moon. It was so powerful. It literally jumped off the cabinets. It was frightening. No one would eject the film. My mum wouldn't go near it. My sister wouldn't go near it. And my dad was like quite gingerly pressing the button. "Come on, you bugger. Come on, you bugger." Oh, the noise it made. And I wish I had a picture to show you because it was... I would buy one now because if you had somebody you hated, you'd tell them to press the eject button. So anyway, getting back to your question, my mum, God love her soul, God rest her soul. She went out and rented the original Superman with Christopher Reeve. What a legend! What a 1977! She brought that back for me. My dad, old school war guy, true stuff, likes the war films, likes the westerns. He come back and he had Bruce Lee's Fist of Fury. Or Chinese Connection, as it was in for you guys. And my mum said, You can't have in that. He goes, oh, he's not watching a man in tights flying around on a screen. He said, oh, got some Bruce Lee, some reality. So anyway, needless to say, I watched Superman, but as soon as I watched Bruce Lee, Jim, that was it for me. I was sold.
Yeah.
Bang. Massive
That's
Bruce Lee
awesome.
fan from then.
Oh, God, that's awesome about the TV, though, because, back then, they weren't televisions. They were furniture. I mean, they were literally, part of the furniture.
I remember the salesman from the store coming around saying, giving me mum and dad the spiel, and it does this and it does that, and this is the classic. It's like mahogany trim. I mean, it was like a massive TV, but the screen was as big as your phone. The rest of it was mahogany trim, and it had one speaker at the side there, and we were all like that trying to listen, and you had to manually touch the volume. But if you touched it too high, you get static. And the speaker would crap out on you, something ruthless. And then as soon as you touched it, the TV would start rolling. Oh, bloody hell, the TV's rolling again. So we had to move our living room around to face the TV where it wouldn't roll.
Oh, that is unbelievable.
Where the TV stopped rolling, Jim, that's where we had our we had our couch watching the TV, and it was like sat against an off wall. Anybody came in, and we were like, "Don't touch the TV! Don't touch the TV!
Walk softly! Don't make the TV move.
Don't touch the TV!" Oh, it was talk of the town, mate. Honestly, we all thought we were Elvis.
Oh, God. Okay, I got a lot more, but I see a couple other people popped in, so I want to acknowledge them real quick.
Yeah.
Mike from Mike's DVD and Blu-ray is here. Hey, Mike, how you doing, buddy? Always good to see you.
Hey, Mike.
Our mutual friend Barry is in the audience today. Says, all right, lads, like watching the Mitchell brothers. Davey will get the reference. Okay.
Yeah, I used to get called, me and my mate, again, God rest his soul, we used to get called the Mitchell brothers at school.
And Anthony
from a soap opera.
Anthony Chobot's in the office. Hello, Anthony. How are you, my friend?
Anthony.
He's another guy who's always here. And Sydney is here. Sydney Eubanks is here. Hello, Sydney. How are you, my friend? Always good to have you here as well. Yeah, we got 20 people in the audience right now. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. I really appreciate it.
As soon as I open my mouth, we'll have minus 20 in the audience.
Carlos is leaving a couple of questions here for us, but I do have one other thing before I get into that, okay? Do you have a favorite memory of seeing a movie at the cinema? Like, is there any one particular movie that sticks out to you?
Yes. And this might be a bit of a surprise for you, Jim, but it was Rocky IV.
Okay, the montage movie. Go ahead.
In the UK, at that time, 1984, maybe 85, there was a huge explosion of Rocky. I was a massive fan of Rocky. I rented Rocky 1 originally on VHS in the very early 80s, and then Rocky 2. My mum was a massive fan of Rocky 2. She swore down that was the best film ever. Rocky 3 came out, and that was my favourite with Mr. T. I love Rocky 3. I thought it was brilliant. So there was a massive buzz for when Rocky 4, and we were actually getting a lot of advertisements in the UK for a change. I don't know why, but there was a lot of buzz coming from America about Rocky 4, and we were all chomping at the bit to see it. So when we went to the cinema, the queue for Rocky 4, I'd never seen queues like it, Jim. They were down the street, they're around the cinema, and as far as the eye could see, Back to the Future was playing at the same time as well. Now, I thought that would have been like the film, because that did good business there, Back to the Future. But Rocky 4, it was absolutely insanity. So anyway, we went watching Rocky 4, and the cinema was packed. I mean, and it was packed full of what I call real moviegoers who wanted to enjoy the film because they knew the Rocky story up to now. The whole audience was chanting, Rocky, Rocky. Everybody believed that we were all ringside, and it was absolutely the best cinema experience I've ever had in my life, mate. Because I was with my sister. I've got an older sister who was like 6.5 years older than me, so all her friends started babying me as well. So I grew up with all them. That's why I watched all the video nasties,
Right.
But they took me to and I think I took one of my school friends with me, and it was an experience that I'd never forget, Jim. That's always been my favourite cinema experience of my entire life. No matter what I've seen after or before it, Rocky IV.
That's
the
awesome.
audience. The audience was just unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
That's awesome. Yeah, Rocky IV was huge over here too. I mean, it was a big hit. A lot of it had to do with MTV because there were a lot of music videos and such, and they were constant. That movie's even shot like a music video with all the montage and
we had no idea. We had no idea what MTV was in the UK. Right. Not a clue.
Yeah,
that was MTV. Even when we were watching Lost Boys, and Sam says to Michael, "No TV. That means no MTV." Did you see a TV? That means no MTV. And I was like, "What's MTV?" This was like 1980, 87, 88. What's MTV? No one in the UK had a clue what MTV was. So that was an experience. Finding out when satellite TV come out. Oh, there is a world out there.
No, MTV like changed everything over here in America. It really did. It changed music, it changed movies, it changed fashion, it changed everything. It was, I think in my lifetime I have seen two pop culture phenomenons, that changed everything as far as around it. MTV was the first one, and the internet was definitely the second. I mean, the internet changed the world. So okay, now I've got a lot of stuff here, but I do want, Carlos is notorious for this, so him and his movie face-offs. So horror movie face-off, Davey. Zombie flesh eaters, which for those of you here in the States, that is zombie, Fulci's zombie. That is not zombie flesh eaters over here. Versus Romero's Day of the Dead. Which one you got?
He knows what buttons to press, Jim. Mm-hmm. Zombie flesh eaters, Day of the Dead, The Burning, Friday the 13th, The Last House on the Left, and The Hills Have Eyes.
So we're going with the first two. Zombie versus Day of the Dead.
Zombie versus Day of the Dead. I'm going to go Day of the Dead.
So will I.
That's a controversial one because, Jim, I loved our UK cover.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh yeah, this was the poster for. This was the UK poster that the X rental. This was the UK poster. I was mesmerized by it when this came out. My sister and her friends went to see it. I was not 18, so I couldn't see it. And I always remember renting this in the video shop. And they had to go out of town because our video shop only had one copy. So I went to an out of town video shop where they had a whole wall of these. And then eventually they started selling them off. So I purchased one for the equivalent to your $10, $11. It was like £10 in the UK. So out of those two, as much as I love Zombie Flesh Eaters, but for what it was, Day of the Dead's always got a special place in my heart. I love the soundtrack.
You can't beat those original zombie movies from Romero. You can't, as far as I'm concerned. Night, Dawn, and Day are like up here, and everything else is below it. It just is, So okay, this one's good though. The Burning versus Friday the 13th. Now I'm assuming he's talking about the original Friday the 13th. So
I will go Friday the 13th, just because it was the first one that really put like the camp splatter sort of thing on the map, and it was different. It was a mum doing the killing. The big reveal was the mum. It wasn't a normal slasher. It wasn't Michael Myers at that time, and this was still quite a new concept back then, Jim. Especially in the UK, probably same for you guys there. So when The Burning came out, that went straight head to head with Friday the 13th Part 2.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, okay, I can see where this is going. The camp slashers and Sleepaway Camp and Madman came out as well. But Friday the 13th, I think, just because it was original. It was original. It had a decent cast. It had a nice location. Because, we're all fans of location videos here, aren't we, mate? So that Camp Nobi Bosco down there in New Jersey is prime place for a video. So I mean, The Burning's iconic. Don't get me wrong, it is. It was, well, both of them were banned here in the UK, but I will stay Friday the 13th.
I grew up in McHenry, Illinois, and the next town over was Crystal Lake. So Friday the 13th has always been very special to me. That being said, I mean, because Friday the 13th of the two is definitely the superior film, okay, without a doubt. But for nostalgic reasons, I'm going with The Burning.
The Burning, yeah.
Oh, get it. And the reason why, okay, and I covered this way back when on one of my drive-in videos. I saw The Burning. My older brother John took me and my friend to see The Burning when it came out. So I was just shy of turning 14 at the time, okay? And The Burning comes on. He puts me and my friend in the front seat while him and his girlfriend go in the back seat. We're watching the movie, and when the iconic raft scene happens, okay, I'm like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. And I turned around and talked to my brother going, wow, look at this. And all I saw was his bare ass bouncing up and down. And I'll never forget that shit. So it's like every time I think of The Burning, but it's a funny story, you know? So it's like, for that reason, I got to go with The Burning. You know, I got it. Not to mention the effects are, I mean, Savini does the effects for both. But that raft scene is just.
I did. You know what? I really loved the beginning of The Burning. After The Burning, the actual original Burning, he jumps in the lake. I like that whole hospital setting. Mm-hmm. And then when he gets released, he's walking with the hat and it's like a giallo sort of film. It really is like a giallo. And I thought, oh, if he's going to go around a sleazy New York town killing people with his switchblade, that's going to be really cool. But then he went back to the camp, and I thought, oh, okay.
Yeah, the only problem I've got with The Burning is that there's way too much time of the kid running around in the caves being chased by the killer. It just goes on way too long. You know, other than that, I like The Burning. I've always liked The Burning. So
was it Alfred or Albert or something?
Yeah. Albert. The kid from Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Mark Ratner. He's Mark Ratner as far as I'm concerned. Okay, last one. And I'm assuming he's talking about the originals. So we're talking two Wes Craven classics, Last House on the Left or The Hills Have Eyes.
Oh, I will go Last House on the Left. Only because of at that point, Jim, I'd never seen anything like that. It was a strong film. I'd not seen I Spit on Your Grave or anything like that. My sister and her friends would not let me watch them type of films. You know, the rape revenge type things. They would not.
Good for them.
This, oh yeah, well, I could watch Driller. I could watch Driller Killer and Burning and Cannibal Holocaust was another one that was. But they said no, it's not for you. This isn't for you. And because I was already watching them on a Friday night with them, I thought, well, it can't be that bad. So I snuck down early next morning after I'd done my paper round, and I put Last House on the Left on, and I just was watching it thinking, and it was gnarly, very, very gnarly film.
Yeah.
And that sort of hit me. I thought, oh, okay. Nasty film. So then when I watched Hills of Eyes, it had its moments, but it was tame in comparison compared to that thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I own both. I mean, I'm a Craven fan. Okay. I own both, but to be honest, from the guy who hates remakes, I prefer the remakes.
I actually really like the remake of Last House.
So do I.
Hills of Eyes.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. But if I had to pick one of the originals, I think I would go with Last House as well, just because it's a more effective movie. Yeah. I've got the Arrow version of Hills Have Eyes and just the regular studio version of Last House, but it's the unrated version.
Yeah, this one.
I'm not a huge fan of the whole rape revenge type genre.
Not my.
I Spit on Your Grave. I saw it way back when. I have no desire to see the remake or any of the sequels, or it's not my thing. It's just not.
Well, these two, I'd still be in jail now if they caught me back then with them. This one was section 1, and this was on the list as well. So Yeah.
Barry says that he would take Friday over The Burning Just.
Yeah.
And he will also take Zombie over Day of the Dead. Zombie Flesh Eaters, I should say, for you over there in the in Europe.
Yeah.
Sydney, I don't. Okay, here we go. Thoughts on these movies: Obsession, Disclosure Day, and Crime 101. Sydney, the only one I have seen is Obsession. Have you seen any of them?
Obsession with Carlos, which was an experience.
I really enjoyed Obsession, mainly because of the lead actress. I thought she was phenomenal. You know, the story to me was pretty basic. You know, I thought the story was pretty basic.
Oh, she was good.
She was a revelation to me because, again, I never heard of this actress before, and she just, like Companion last year, okay, with Sophie Thatcher, that performance just came out of nowhere, and it was like, holy shit, this woman's a rock star, you know. So
absolutely, I
really enjoyed Obsession. I do want to see Crime 101 and Disclosure Day. I just haven't seen either one of them yet. Right. But thank you so much for the question. Okay, all right. We've kind of hinted around it a little bit, and I wanted to get to it a little bit later into the show, but I kind of want to hit this now. Video nasties. Okay. That was a big deal over in the UK in the early 80s. Okay. And it's a subject that has always fascinated me because we, of course, had nothing like that over here. Okay. The closest thing that we had to that over here was a couple of years later in the mid 80s with the Satanic Panic shit with music. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And then they started having all these congressional hearings about music. Should we ban this or that? The PMRC, Parents Music Resource Center. Fuck them. Okay. I mean, that's a whole different story. Okay. But
it's on the same line, though.
The one thing that the two had in common, and at least as far as I'm concerned, from an outsider looking in, okay, was that it was just somebody either in the government or close to the government getting their panties in a bunch over something that offended them. And under the guise of saying that it's for the children, we need to protect the children, decided that they would just get rid of this shit altogether. Okay. Am I kind of correct on that so far?
Yeah, you're on the right lines, Jim. Yeah.
Okay. Now, to those in the audience or either now or watching that don't know what the hell I'm talking about with this video nasties thing because it was before their time or they're from America, please explain to the audience a little bit, you know, just generally what it was about.
Yeah. Well, in the UK, we have our cinema ratings, the BB, like your MPAA, we have the BBFC, the British Board of Film Classification. They ruled all the films that came out onto the cinema. Now, with VHS turning up in around 1980 in the UK, independent video shops would be distributing VHS tapes. It was a revolution in the UK. It really was, because it opened up the doors to seeing more movies, because we were quite limited before that. I think we had 8 Super 8 films on cine cameras before that. Nothing to really write off. So VHS was a massive deal for us. However, because of a loophole in the British law, these films, these VHS tapes, these movies didn't go through the BBFC's hands. So that's why, I'll pick that up. That's why you've not got a certificate 18 on the cover or the tape. They were just whatever was released. Now, a lot of them was uncut because they never went through the censors. They were just released. Some of them were the original UK cinema prints, which was slightly trimmed. But none of them was certificated. None of them went through the BBFC like the cinema. If you got a film for the cinema, it'd arrive in its tin, and the BBFC would view it, and then they would certificate it. It used to have a different system back then. It was a U, an A, a double A, and then a certificate X. There was no U, 12, PG, 15, 18. That came afterwards with the Recording Act. So horror films was a certificate X. the least you could get away with was certificate AA, which was like R15.
Okay.
A 15. Blade Runner is a classic example. That was originally released as a AA, certificate AA. A was like for kids, like your PG and cartoons, your A. But the certificate X was horror and porn. If
I was going to say, X over here means porn.
Yeah, but
straight up.
In the UK, it was for violence and for horror. So that was the Cert X. So these videos are being released. They're being pumped out, and everyone was. It was brilliant. It was what made me a movie fan. Watching all these horror films with me older sister and their boyfriends and their friends on a Friday night. So they bring back The Burning before it was banned, The Driller Killer. All these films that we were talking about, they were all on VHSs, and there was not certified. There was no age thing on. They were just getting rented out. People started complaining about some of the content. Some of the fuddy-duddy started complaining about the content. So there was a little bit of a group started going around, do-gooders, about, is this right for, can children watch these things, or can adults watch is this appropriate behavior? So this was getting into the local MPs and the politicians getting involved, and it was gaining a bit of momentum going through, and the BBFC said, well, we've got no powers at the time being. We've got no powers to take them off the shelves or anything, because they can be released. So they're not coming through our hands. They're just getting straight released onto VHS. So Vipco, our friends at Vipco, decided to push the boat out even further. One of the marketing geniuses at Vipco, which was a company that was pumping out some of the video nasties here, they decided to take out a full colour spread of their latest VHS, and it was to have a dig at these people. And it was, bear with me.
Oh, Jesus.
Driller Killer, right?
I can imagine what the reaction was to that.
Oh my God, mate. So I'm sat there, I was a kid, eating my cornflakes, flicking through. It was like a movie magazine, because we had, in the UK, as you know, we had nothing. There was no internet, nothing for UK. We had we only had 3 channels on our TV. So, and the TV was rolling. So you couldn't catch it anyway. So we were stuffed. So I'm sat there. So we have these magazines. We have TV guides in and what was on TV. And you get the odd article and Gardener's World and all that crap. And I'm turning over the page and I'm having my cornflakes. And I remember it as clear as I'm sitting here, that.
Yeah. And
I just said to my sister, we need that. We need to get this one. We need to get this one. And like, my mum was, well, God love her, she was horrified. She went, what the bloody hell's that?
Yeah.
And my sister thought, shut up, don't say nothing. That I was that to my sister.
Yeah.
Tell them to get that next. Tell your boyfriends to get that next. We need that next. So it's called Driller Killer. It's going to be good. People getting drilled in the head. You know what I mean? And it was insane. So I was like, yeah, we need that. Oh, look at that. God, the river's running blood. The blood rivers in this one. So Friday night comes, and they all come in. You know, my mum and dad go out on the darts night out. Every Friday night they go out. So I'd be at the mercy of these teenagers who could watch these legally anyway, because they were nearly 18 anyway. And the next thing, he whipped it out.
Nice.
Oh, put it on. And we were all sat there watching Driller Killer. And my God, we just watched this. Like, I mean, to me, it's quite a depressing film, but the reaction that photo had in the magazines, it's them all off.
Oh, I'm sure.
The government got involved, and the MPs were right, enough's enough, we got to do something. So they started the wheels turning about horror films and what what sort of people are doing this. What's it doing? It's moral decency, Jim. Moral decency was at stake. So a bunch of these people, the NVLA or something, some women's group has got involved, churches got involved.
Yeah.
Mary Whitehouse was like notorious for speaking her mind on day TV, and she was a grandmother who was determined to make the world the UK a better place.
Yeah.
And she came in there and she was all this. Anyway, the politicians started, they brought out the Video Recording Act. And in the summer of 1983, when I was 10 watching Jaws 3 and Return of the Jedi, there was a list. They started putting horror films, they're watching the horror films, and they started making lists to get them off the shelves to be banned. So that was the 3 sections. Section 1. Now, there's a lot of myths about this. It was around June, July 1983 when the list came out. And when the list came out, the police were out in force raiding the video shops. They were going out. Now, Section 1, so this one, for example, this is The Last House on the Left and Cannibal Holocaust and I Spit on Your Grave, seized. But because they were liable to prosecution as well for having them, for renting them, the distributors like Vipco, they was taken to court as well. And they were successfully prosecuted for having these films. So it was the banning. So then when that started happening, Jim, it was open season for any horror film that we'd ever had.
Yeah.
It was all video nasty crazy. Churches were renting videos and handing them into the police. The police didn't know which way was west because they were just getting thrown. And because this list was now available, they were just confiscating everything. Jaws got caught up in it in my town.
Jesus.
Oh, mate, the stories I could tell you. So all these videos are being seized and raided. The video shops were raided. And it was a shame because one of our we had 2 in our town. One of them never survived it. They took all his stock and he never really got over that. You know what I mean? Bless him. So he closed down in about 1986, 85, 86, bless him, which was sad. But yeah, there was raids of all these films. And then Section 2 came out and it was like other films that they were trying to prosecute. The difference between Section 2 is they failed to get prosecuted. So they called the dropped Section 2. And then they made Section 3 where they never attempted to prosecute. They just banned them. So Friday the 13th, 1 and 2, Dawn of the Dead, Night of the Living Dead was on Section 3. Off the shelves. However, mate, it was bedlam. Now, here's the funny thing for me. Because I'd already been watching this stuff before 1983 with my sister. I was a paper boy at the time. And I was getting, for the week's wages, I was getting nearly £5 for a week. That was a lot of money back then.
Yeah, that's good money back then.
Oh, mate, I thought I was the king. So I'd go to our local flea market in our town where they had a market with all second-hand stores. There was a stall that had VHS tapes. And every VHS store in the local community would sell the extra stock. Mm. And that's where I bought most of mine from for $1, basically. I'd buy that for $1.
Nice.
$1 for Driller Killer. $1.50. Yeah. $1.50 for I Spit on Your Grave, Cannibal Holocaust. So me with my paper money, I was buying the movies or I was watching the night before, or the Friday night with my friends. Saturday morning, I'd be down there at 8 o'clock in the morning, wait for the video shop to come, and it was like massive store. It was piled high, about 4 or 5 tapes high. It wasn't presented well. It was like a jumble sale. You had to dig through all the tapes, and that's where I got all these from. Now, as soon as the Video Nasties Act came out, sheer chaos, Jim. They were throwing these Anybody who had these tapes, they were throwing them out the windows. The police was coming through the back door. They were throwing them out. They were burning them. They were getting rid of them. And our flea market was still selling them quickly. And I mean, I thought, how the market never got rid, because the police station was just across the road from the market. And there was this guy with a massive video stall, double video stall with all these tapes. And he had all this, I had all these, so I was buying them all. But when that act came out, it was like 2 for $1. You can have these, you can have these. So it was open season. I was like, oh, I'm just grabbing everything I can. Oh, it was amazing, mate. And then what happened was, my sister's boyfriends at the time, obviously they're older, they had a few that they'd not took back to the video shop. They thought they'd be clever, rented it out and not took it back. But when the list come out, nobody wanted to be seen with these things. So, because you end up in serious trouble. So I got a black bin bag, a black plastic bag full. And I was only, 10 at the time. And he said, Dave, I had this somewhere, Dave. And it was all a bunch of these tapes. So in my dad's attic, there was no flooring down. So I crawled across the beams, and there was an old sideboard. There was an old wooden mahogany sideboard. God knows how they got it in there, because the hatch was only as big as me. And so it was in the house before we moved in. It'd been built up there. So I put these bin bags in there, and that's where they stayed. So anyway, our next door neighbour, she was a do-gooder. She whistleblowed. She said to the police, next door neighbours have got all these video nasties. So the police raided our home. So
this blows my mind. This sounds like Nazi Germany. I'm sorry.
oh yeah. So we got raided. So my mum, a church-going woman at the time, she was part of this church as well. She was defending the video nasties, by the way, my mum. She was defending it, saying now it was getting ridiculous because they were putting Jaws and stuff on the list, or trying to ban Jaws, and it was ridiculous. So my mum, when the cops come to raid our house, my mum was like, "I love, come in," and made him a cup of tea. She had no idea that I'd hidden these things. I'd got these things in the attic, right? So my mum was talking to the policeman, and she was like, "I love, come on, have a look through the cupboards, have a look through under stairs, have a look in all the things." And I'm sat there going, "Oh God, don't go in the attic." That sounds like a video nasty. Don't go in the attic. Yeah, I was like, don't go up there. Anyway,
don't go in the basement.
The police actually went up. They got the lads. They went up, opened the hatch, and they saw there was no floor. So they didn't even bother, because they'd go through the ceiling. Yeah. And my mum said, "Oh, there's no flooring up there, love. You'll fall through." You know what I mean? She said, "There's nothing up there." So it was empty, just full of junk. So they didn't look there, thankfully. But that's how bad the Video Nasties Act was. It was insane. And that grip was all the way through the 80s into the early 90s.
That long? See, I thought it was only a couple of years.
Well, Gareth had just mentioned James Furman earlier. James Furman was the guy who was responsible for banning all these and refusing certificates to films and getting them all cut. And it was absolute disgrace. Some of the Tory politicians are absolute clowns. It wasn't just moral decency. Some buffoon, I think this is a clip on YouTube. Some buffoon politician at the time was saying, he said, and we even believe that household pets are affected by these video nasties too.
Holy shit.
So basically, what they were saying is, your pet bird was affected by the video nasties too.
I was going to say your goldfish is going to kill you.
Exactly.
Jesus Christ, man. For years I've been bitching about the MPAA and the PMRC and the satanic panic people in this country in that time period. I take it all back compared to what you guys were going through. Jesus. Like I said, it's one thing to ban movies, okay? And to say you can't rent these to kids or whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
It's another thing for the police to start raiding houses for friggin' movies. It's not like you're a drug dealer. Okay. I mean,
It was worse.
God knows how did they treat porn back then? I mean,
They had all the porno theaters in London and all that. Like, that always went on in Soho and the sweatshops down there. But if you watched a horror film, moral decency, Jim, moral decency.
See, that's the difference between the cultures, by and large. Okay, because I've touched on this way back when. Okay, in America, they're all about violence. Okay, I mean, shit, we got bombs in our fucking national anthem, for Christ's sake. Okay, rockets and bombs. So I mean, and this is coming from a proud American. I love my country. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But we're a violent country. We always have been. Okay. But we're also a prudish country. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
We better not see a pair of tits unless those tits are getting hacked off. Then it's fine. You know. I mean, whereas in Europe, it's completely the opposite. They've got no problem with sex or nudity or whatever. It's the violence. And you know what? In that regard, the Europeans are correct. Okay? Because, again, you should be freaked out about a machete going through a head a hell of a lot more than a frame of a couple having sex. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
That's unreal. I didn't realize it was that bad and it was that
long. Oh, mate. Yeah, well, every town, when I do my videos, I always get a bunch of comments from people in the UK from different parts of the country. They have their own memories and their own, but we all fall under the same sort of traps. All them films all 3 sections was banned. No matter what section, 1, 2, or 3, it was banned. And then they'd ban extra films as well that wasn't on the list. So like Maniac, Madman, Basket Case. They got took off the shelves too.
See, now those Maniac, at least I thought would have made the list from the get-go, because again, that one's pretty rough. I mean,
see, this is the thing. You can get something like Toby Hooper's Funhouse, which was on the section that was banned with nothing in it.
Took me to see that.
But there's the thing, though, Jim. But then you watch Halloween 2, and that's got far more graphic kills in it than Funhouse.
Oh, yeah,
and I'll even push it and say Driller Killer's only got that one scene where he drills the transient on the head. As good as that scene is, Halloween 2 had the scalpel, it had the hammer to the head, it had the face boiling scene, and no one touched Halloween 2. Oh, yeah, watch Michael Myers. That didn't get put on the list. No, fine. Friday the 13th, no, off. Dawn of the Dead, no, off.
There you go, Davey.
So
you brought up Halloween 2, okay?
Oh, yeah.
Real quick story for you. This will make your head explode. 1981. I'm 14 years old. I see a double feature of Halloween 2 and An American Werewolf in London in a rundown secondhand theater on a Sunday afternoon when it's raining and the rain is coming through the roof of this theater. That's how shitty this theater was. Okay. But I'm 14. I saw those 2 movies as a double feature. The price of the ticket, 75 cents.
Oh.
Less than $1.
Wow.
And to this day, that's one of my greatest cinematic memories, is seeing those 2 movies at that age for that price. It's just, it's mind-blowing. So I didn't mean to interrupt, but when you said Halloween 2, it just
but Halloween 2, which is my favorite sequel, I think for me personally, it ends at Halloween 2. I only like Halloween 1 and 2. I don't bother with the rest of the sequels.
Ooh, that's interesting, because we're going to get into that in a little bit.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you said that. But no, like I said, I'm jumping ahead, but I'm going to have you back again. Definitely.
Video Nasties Part 2 and 3.
We're going to get more into this, because again, we could do an entire 2-hour show just about this subject. I mean,
easy.
But again, I do want to, I got to move on, because we're halfway through the show and I've seen some other people jump into the chat here, and I want to say hello real quick. First of all, I got one of my partners here, Larry from the Horcat Dad. Hey, Larry, how you doing, my friend? From Texas.
Hey, Larry.
There you go. Don't hold it against him. And my good friend Chester is here as well. Hey Chester, how are you? And when you were talking, I was reading Larry's comments when you were talking about the old lady next door calling the cops and stuff.
Yeah.
He's like, dang friggin' Karen. And then when I said about the Nazi Germany, he's like, I'm getting that vibe too.
My sister used to nickname the lady next door the News of the World. She was like the paper. So we used to call her the News of the World because she knew everyone's business. The News of the World.
I had a neighbor like that across the street when I was a kid. But she'd set her goddamn dogs outside at like 5 a.m. every morning before the sun would come up. And she had like 4 or 5 poodles, and they'd just be out there barking nonstop. And it was worse than listening to the crows or the roosters in the morning. I mean, horrible.
Well, she did it to us twice. We got raided twice because of her. She did it again.
Don't go through the back door. A different type of video nasty.
That wouldn't be a video nasty in the UK. The back door's fine.
Video. That's a nasty video.
I mean, if you guys see any of the early Hammer horror, there was tits and ass everywhere. No one batted an eyelid. Yeah. There was full frontals. There was everything. But don't give someone a bit of blood running down your neck. That was corrupting our pets.
Yeah, there you go. Because his cat is traumatized to this day.
Absolutely.
Okay, now Alan's given the Ireland aspect here. He's like, it was even worse in Ireland, guys. Life of Brian, which I knew about, was banned for years here. Believe it or not, the Bond movie Octopussy was banned because of its name. That movie should have been banned just because it's a bad Bond movie.
I actually went to the cinema watching Octopussy as well.
I saw that at the drive-in.
Yeah. But I did know about Life of Brian. I did know about Life of Brian because of the religious subjects of it and some of the language that they use in it. I think it narrowly avoided the list here. But if I'm not sure, I think it might have been taken off the shelves because that disappeared for a while. Alan's just jogged my memory because my mum used to love Life of Brian.
It's my favorite Python movie. I love it.
And she was saying, I can't get all the Life of Brian. Now, I wonder if it was an unofficial took off the shelf like Maniac and Madman and Basket Case. Crazy.
Was it true that scenes with nunchucks were cut out?
Yes.
Because I've heard that.
Yes. The ninja films, the American ninja films with, not the American, the ninja films with Sho Kosugi, Enter the Ninja, Revenge of the Ninja, Ninja 3, The Domination.
The canon.
All the throwing stars was out. All the weapons was out. Bruce Lee's nunchuckers was out. They cut Bruce Lee to pieces. I've still got my uncut Fist of Fury Chinese connection with all the nunchuckers in because my video shop, the second one, never sent it to be trimmed when the BBFC wanted it because I've still got the pre-certs of them.
Did you ever see the movie Dreamscape?
Yes, I did. That was cut in the UK.
I was going to ask, they got the nunchuck scene in that?
Yeah. David Patrick Kelly played the killer.
Yeah.
Brilliant film. And he was a Bruce Lee fan. And at the time, I was a massive Bruce Lee. He had a Fist of Fury poster in the background in one of the scenes. Mm-hmm. And then he was dressed as a ninja in the dream at the end. And he tried to do the nunchuckers. That was cut out of Dreamscape.
Wow. That's actually him doing the nunchucks because I've got the Blu-ray and they've got an interview with him because at the time I thought maybe it was like some sort of early
we had to wait till DVD to see the uncut version of Halloween 3 and Dreamscape because they cut Halloween 3 as well.
Wow, that blows my mind. Okay, I think I'm caught. Oh. Yeah, he's laughing about the Octopussy being banned. That's fucking. So many movies have been titled something different. Why didn't they just change the title? I mean,
Dolly Parton's Last Little Whorehouse in Texas got caught up in the video nasties as well. They tried to ban that. They hadn't watched it, but because of the title, The Last Whorehouse in Texas, she's going.
Wow. And Larry's just as dumbfounded. Wow, they cut H3? Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
the head ripping off scene with Dick Warlock where he kills the guy,
yeah,
where they
yeah.
pull the head off that, and the bit where Marge Gutman gets the shot to the face with the silver shamrock tag, that was out.
To me, the nastiest thing in that movie is the kid with the mask on his head, and all at once the bugs start crawling out of his eyes.
They left that in. They left the majority of that in. I can
Yeah, because
remember
the kid
that.
was annoying, so they were like, "Yeah, it's no big deal."
Yeah, it was Buddy. Get rid of Buddy.
Okay, we're gonna get back to my stuff now. Do you remember the first DVD you ever bought?
Yes.
What
It
was
was
it?
the same. It was the same as the first VHS I ever bought. It was
Okay,
Bruce
I was
Lee's
gonna
Way of the
ask VHS,
Dragon.
but I wasn't sure if you were, old or
I
younger
bought
for that.
the very 1981 was when I first started collecting. 8
Mm-hmm.
years old, I minded our video shop to sell me Bruce Lee, and he wouldn't. He wouldn't do it. He wouldn't do it. He wouldn't do it. Eventually, I started helping him out on a Saturday, and because I was helping him out, I got to pick any poster in the shop I wanted. Anything. My room was plastered in posters. Everything completely, everything inappropriate was plastered on my walls.
Nice.
So he then said to my mum and dad as a surprise, I'll sell him Bruce Lee's Way of the Dragon with Chuck Norris, or Return of the Dragon for you guys. And he charged $10 for it, which was a lot of money. So that was my first VHS I ever bought was Way of the Dragon. Now, because of our friend James Furman from the BBFC, he butchered the film. It was butchered beyond belief. There was hardly nothing in it. Extra things were cut out of that thing. It was just like ridiculous. So I had to wait for DVD, Jim. And when it advertised on DVD for the first time, fully restored and uncut, I was straight to Andy's Records and I bought Way of the Dragon. And I watched it for the first time uncut, like I did with all the Bruce Lee films. For the first, apart from Fist of Fury, because I already had that. And Enter the Dragon, I already had that uncut. But Big Boss, Way of the Dragon, bits and bobs in Game of Death. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I watched Way of the Dragon for the first time, uncut. It was amazing. So that first VHS I bought was Way of the Dragon, and the first DVD I ever bought was Way of the Dragon. Still got them.
You want to hear something embarrassing? I saw Game of Death before I saw Enter the Dragon. Game of Death came out in '79. I was 12, and Bruce Lee, of course, was already dead at that point. But I thought that it was like a lost movie. Like he filmed the entire. I didn't know until after the fact.
Oh yeah.
But I'm sorry. Say what you will about Game of Death, okay? Because it's half a movie at best, okay? The fight scene with him and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is still one of the best. When Kareem kicks him and he's got that big ass footprint on his chest for it's gold. I mean, it's just fucking gold. How about Blu-ray?
Blu-ray. The first Blu-ray I ever bought. Right. Let me think. Let me get the very first Blu-ray I ever bought. Oh, you got me there.
Well, you're thinking. I love that.
I was late changing over to Blu-ray because I was mesmerized by DVD quality.
Me too.
Because I was a VHS boy, so there was no snow and tracking. So I went straight to DVD, and I still bought DVDs rather than. I didn't jump on Blu-ray straight away because I didn't need to. But the first Blu-ray I bought, I think it might have been The Exorcist. Nice. And that was because it was a media book. They started releasing these special editions on DVD, like the Evil Dead Book to the Dead. They were still DVD. But then Blu-ray come out. I got the DVD, the version of you've never seen of The Exorcist. Again, something new. But they brought out a media book of The Exorcist with a book in, something novel. So I think it was The Exorcist, Jim. First Blu-ray.
Are you in the 4K?
I've picked up a few of them. Only if I've not got anything on if I'm replacing a VHS or I've not bought the Blu-ray or upgraded.
Yeah, I don't have a 4K player. The only 4Ks that I own are because that's the only way I can get the blue. You know, it was like a combo.
That's right, yeah.
Or the only film that I have 2 copies of in my entire collection is They Live. Not because it's my favorite movie, okay? It's one of my favorite movies. I love that movie, okay? But I've got originally I had the Blu-ray Steelbook from Scream Factory. And then when they did it on 4K, they re-released it on a Steelbook. And I was like, I'm not going to double dip. I don't, And then I saw it on sale for $10 at Walmart, and I couldn't resist. And the artwork is beautiful on it. So
that's it. We're stuck in by a good cover, Jim. I've got 35 editions of Halloween behind me.
Yeah, see, I don't do that by and large because, again, I pick on people that do that. It's fine to do that with movies that you truly love.
Yeah,
it's these yo-yos that do it with every fucking movie that comes out. That pisses me off. It's like, what? You've never even seen that fucking movie, and you've got 4 different versions of it because it had different slip covers.
Yeah, I'm against. Halloween was the first ever proper horror film I ever watched. That stuck with me. So, and I've always been a massive Halloween 1 and 2 fan. So I've collected them. I've always been a massive Dawn of the Dead fan. Collected Dawn of the Dead. Always been a Friday the 13th fan. Collected the franchise. Everything else, I've got bits and bobs of the movies that I like. I don't do that with everything.
Yeah, like I said, that's the difference. You're a movie. Me and Carlos talk about this all the time. You're a movie fan. Yeah. You're a movie fan who happens to collect, just like we are, as opposed to a collector who
just buys anything.
Movies.
He just buys anything.
Everything that comes out, just so you can have content where you can go look at this. Put it on this shelf over here and either get it.
I never bother with it again.
Yep, exactly.
Still in its cellophane. Still in its wrapper.
Now, by and large, you are known as a horror guy. Obviously, it's in your title of your channel. Okay.
Yeah.
What are some of your other favorite genres of film?
Martial arts. Martial arts. Bruce Lee was my first love. I watched every Bruce Lee film a million times. My dad then, God bless him, he then tried to get me into Chuck Norris. And at that point, I had crap, Bruce Lee beat him in the Coliseum.
Right.
Until my sister's boyfriend showed me Silent Rage.
His horror movie. I saw that at the drive-in too.
Oh my God. It had Chuck Norris as basically as himself. He was Lone Wolf McQuade. He was the cowboy sheriff, and it had a psychopath. And it had a psychopath, which was like Michael Myers, but it explained why he couldn't die, and it scared the shit out of me when I first watched it.
Yep.
It was up there with Halloween and Friday, and the good thing, I always remember. Every time Chuck Norris was on screen, I thought, we're all right. Chuck's on the scene. When he wasn't on the scene, that was pretty ropey stuff, especially when he's stalking the girlfriend in the hospital. So, martial arts. And then I started watching the old dubbed, really, really poor Chinese dubbed Shaw Brothers and all the crap martial arts. And I still love that shit today.
Dan's a big fan of those.
Snake in the Monkey's Shadow and all that, and all the Jewel of the Brave ones and the Five Fingers of Death and all that, Wang Kwai Chang Li and all that. Love all that. And then I also grew up watching action movies as well. First Blood and Rambo and all that sort of stuff. All that Schwarzenegger stuff, all that. I grew up watching all that. And comedies.
Are there any genres that you just don't like by and large? I'm not saying that you hate everything, but is there any, like me, I'm not a fan of rom-coms by and large. Okay. I'm not saying they're all bad. It's just not a type of movie that I would.
No, I'm not the same. I'm the same.
My friend Kenny loves them, and again, I'm not picking on him because he loves
them. No.
So,
if you just don't do it for me.
But is there anything, like along those lines that you're not a fan of?
Rom-coms like that, anything like that, it's not my cup of tea. War films. My dad tried to throw everything at me. War films, westerns. I like a few westerns, but I don't because some of this shit really happened in the world.
Yeah.
You think,
my war question.
No, but my granddad was in the Forgotten Army in World War II. He was in Burma. He was part of a secret place called the Chindits, and the hell that he went through, he wouldn't talk about it. So every time World War's mentioned,
there, they don't talk about it.
I just think it's a bit. I don't know. It's one of them subjects, Jim, where I go, God bless everybody, because people in the US and all across the world, they lost their lives and their families. Leave that there. In my eyes, they were all heroes. Leave it there. It's trauma. It's PTSD in a movie when you're watching shit. I did watch one of the war films that, if you can call it a war film, that I did watch was remember Casualties of the War with Michael J. Fox and Sean Penn.
I own it.
That had me hooked. That had me hooked, and I was in tears watching that.
Yeah, that's a rough watch. It's a very good movie, but it's not a movie I go back to often. Let's put it that way.
No.
But it's probably Michael J. Fox's best performance.
Hand on heart, that was it for me. I thought, yeah, he's broke out of there. From class of 1984 to Casualty of the War, the kid had done really, really well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's a couple.
That's a De Palma film.
Yeah,
and I'm a big De Palma guy.
There's a couple of war films that I've watched. You know what I mean? And again, same with westerns. I've watched Django and I like that, and I like High Plains Drifter with Clint Eastwood and a few of them. Some of the other spaghetti western ones, they're pretty cool. So I'm not against any of them.
No, there's always exceptions to the rule. I'm not a musical guy, okay? But there's certain musicals I love.
Oh, mate, I tell you, my sister throwing Dirty Dancing down my throat. Even I was falling in love with Patrick Swayze. You know what I mean? It was just all this stuff throwing on. I had Flashdance, I had Footloose, Rocky Horror Picture Show, Dirty Dancing, all that sort of stuff. Grease too. I didn't mind them. I didn't mind them. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I like them all except for Dirty Dancing because I fucking hate
I'm not. I would say I'm not a massive sci-fi fan. I don't do spaceship and aliens. I do love Close Encounters of the Third Kind, and I do love Blade Runner.
And you said that you like the original Star Wars movies too. So
yeah, they're the exception. That's the standard.
Yeah, there's always exceptions.
I mean, Alien come out, and that was a horror film, but then Aliens come out. That was more sci-fi action, like Terminator. There's a lot more action orientated. I was not keen on the sci-fi thing, really. The 50s sci-fi that you guys had over there, I could watch the science fiction that you guys had.
Yeah, Aliens and Terminator 2 to me are like perfect sci-fi action movies. Whereas the original Alien and even Terminator 1, to an extent, to me, are like perfect science fiction horror films.
Yeah,
they're different. They're different in tone.
I wouldn't. The darker. I mean, with Terminator, I always thought I would never class it as a. People, I'd argue with people because they said it's like a slasher film. I said, no. He doesn't kill one person with a knife. He doesn't torture anybody. He's there to assassinate one person. That's he's a robot. I said the horror element. Yeah, he could have. It was a darker tone, which I like that. But Blade Runner had a slight darker tone. Yeah. That sort of shit run through that.
I would compare the Terminator more to Jaws as a creature than Jason. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
like you said,
there was no emotion behind. There was no emotion behind the T-100. He was just after assassinating one target. That was it. There was no things. You know what I mean?
Fucking Patrick. He can't come in here without giving me shit about Dirty Dancing.
Dancing movies, yeah. Well, having an older sister, that was on regular. You know what I mean?
My sister had the Saturday Night Fever and the Grease soundtracks, both.
Oh, yeah.
And I saw both of those movies 1,000 times. So,
Yeah.
but my sister, who is 4 years older than me, was over here yesterday, as a matter of fact. She's also the one that took me to see Scanners. She took me to see The Funhouse. She took me to see Porky's. I mean,
oh yes,
good sister. You know what I mean?
very good. Like my sister, she was watching everything.
Yeah, and since you mentioned martial arts, I'll ask you. There's a movie that is from this year that I watched twice. I actually watched it again yesterday with my sister, and she fucking loved it. Have you seen The Furious yet?
No, not seeing it.
When it gets over there, I don't know if it's been released over there or whatever, but when it gets over there, do yourself a favor and watch that immediately. It is, I'll say it right now, best action movie of the year. There will not be a movie that
Sounds
comes
good.
out this year that will be better than it as far as pure insane action goes.
Brilliant.
There is so much, no spoilers, but there is so much combat with hammers and pallets, okay, like a skid, a pallet in that movie. It should be sponsored by fucking Home Depot. I mean, it's just Jesus Christ. If you did a shot every time somebody gets hit with some type of hammer in that movie, you would be dead of alcohol poisoning within the first 15 minutes. I mean, it's insane. It's such a good movie. Dan turned me on to that one. And if you're, yeah, there you go, Dan. Furious. He was lucky enough to see it theatrically. I saw it streaming, and oh my god, it's so good. So
yeah,
can't recommend
like
that
the early Jackie Chan movies. They were great for the stunts and stuff. All the crap he was doing.
The fight choreography alone in this movie, I've never seen anything like it. I mean, just it's Joe Taslim, who was in The Raid, and he played Sub-Zero in the new.
Right, okay.
And he's in The Night Comes For Us, which I fucking love too. If you've ever seen that one, okay. But the other actor who plays a mute actor, I never saw him before, and this guy reminded me of like a young Jackie Chan with the way he moves. Every time somebody grabs this guy, he just and it's nonstop like that. And it's like, how in the hell is this guy moving like that? I mean, it's great. I can't recommend that movie.
Is it proper action, or is it enhanced with AI and CGI?
No, none of that bullshit.
Is it the real deal?
It's the real deal. That's
what I like. I don't like any of that CGI.
You will love this movie. Do me a favor, when you see it, after
I will let you know.
Let me know what you thought.
I will let you know. I will hit you up and let you know.
Please do, because like I said, I guarantee you will dig it. It's a really good movie.
Yeah, I do like your fighting ones.
We're gonna get into we're an hour and 20 into it, Davey, and we got 20 people in the audience. Thank you so much. We're jamming through this, okay? But I gotta throw a couple of my little games at you. So we're gonna play a little game called Top 3. Okay.
Top 3.
I'm gonna give you a genre or a type of film, and off the top of your head, I cannot stress that enough. Off the top of your head.
Okay.
Give me the first 3 movies that come into your head. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
No, you're not going to be held. No, nothing's going to be held against you. Okay. So, and even if you don't really like the genre,
I'll try and name some.
We've established that there are exceptions to every genre, more or less. So we
should
be fine. Okay. Top 3 raunchy comedies.
Raunchy comedies.
Yes.
Porky's, Lemon Popsicle, Hot Bubblegum.
I have not seen Lemon Popsicle, but I have seen The Last American Virgin, which is the movie that it's based on, and I really want to see Lemon Popsicle. So my sister
and her friends had them, so I watched all that shit as well.
Yeah,
but those 3 off the top of my head.
Available over here, I don't think.
Right, Hot Bubblegum.
Okay, we've already established you're not a big fan of this genre, but top 3 sci-fi films.
Blade Runner, I would say Close Encounters of the Third Kind and Return of the Jedi.
Great picks. This one's going to be a little rougher. Top 3 action films.
Oh, shit. Fist of Fury, Silent Rage, and I've got to go Bloodsport.
Nice. Top 3 vampire movies.
Oh, you son of a gun. Vampire movies. Oh, you son of... Because oh, my God, the
I know
floodgates have
you like
opened.
vampires.
Jamie, you son of a gun.
Gee, Alan, you're not the only one I made squirm.
I'm going to... Oh, shit. Let's just go for some commerciality as well. I'll go... Bela Lugosi's Dracula. I will go... Vamp with Grace Jones, and I will go Lost Boys.
Very good. Vamp
I've got... There are so many, James.
So that's a good pick.
There's so many. I could go into unknown ones, but people will be like, "What the fuck is he talking about?"
Top 3 werewolf movies.
Oh, Make a Wolf in London. 1, The Howling, number 2, and I would say, let's change it up a bit. Go some Dog Soldiers.
Fucking love Dog Soldiers. Fucking love Dog
Let's
Soldiers.
Bring those two. The first 1 and 2 was a dead cert for me. Dog Soldiers, it doesn't get enough love. I was gonna put Wolfen in there as well, and there was Night of the Wolf and shit like that, and Universal Monsters Wolfman as well, one of my all-time favorites. But
I'm just going to go movie, but it's not a werewolf movie. So, because I've gotten in arguments with people about that, because I remember that summer of '81. That was the year of the werewolf, and it was The Howling came out first, then Wolfen came out,
Wolfen,
and then American Werewolf in London came out.
That's right.
And
Wolfen's different, isn't it? It's got that. It's got a different side.
It's wolves.
Yeah.
It's not werewolves.
Yes.
It's about extremely intelligent wolves that have been around forever. And say what you will about Wolfen, okay? Because a lot of people say this or that, like, you know, it's boring or this. That movie invented predator vision, as far as I'm concerned, because that was the first movie I ever saw with that heat vision going. With
it was freaky for its time, wasn't it?
Yeah, and
innovation.
Years later, when I saw Predator for the first time, which is totally different. I'm not saying they're the same. Okay, we're one ripped off the other, but when I saw that heat vision, the first thing that popped into my head was like, "Oh shit, this is like Wolfen," you know. So
Wolfen.
All right. If you thought the vampire thing pissed you off, this one's really going to piss you off. Top 3 slasher movies.
No shit. Let's go classic. Psycho. Psycho number 1. I'll go loosely Friday the 13th number 2, and shit. I'm trying to keep an open mind here. I'll say Halloween. Keep it classic. Keep it classic.
Yeah. Okay, see, that wasn't difficult. You survived. Kinda.
Yeah.
My friend Daniel is here. Hey, what's up, buddy? So
hey mate, you all right?
And Larry says, "Drop." Thank you so much, Larry. I appreciate that. But good question from Carlos here. If you could have a signed photo of either John Carpenter, Tom Savini, Jamie Lee Curtis, or Robert Englund, which one is your choice?
I would probably go with Jamie Lee Curtis, just because I was a fan of her body of work, not just for Halloween, but The Fog, Prom Night, Road Games with Stacey Keach.
Love that.
And Blue Steel was pretty good. You know, so
if it was just a photo, like a headshot photo of any of them signed, I would definitely, if it was personalized, of course, I would definitely go with John Carpenter just because he means so much to me.
Yeah.
But here comes Skeevy Jim. If it was a shot from Trading Places of Jamie Lee Curtis in the mirror, it's definitely Jamie Lee.
Oh, perfect. that movie Perfect that she did.
Yeah. She's
with
perfect.
John Travolta.
I love Jamie Lee Curtis. I've been in love with her for years. But yeah.
Did you remember the film
Road Games? Because nobody talks about that movie.
Oh, right then.
Stacey
good in that one.
Best performance as far as I'm concerned.
Oh,
he is fucking good in that movie.
Hands down agree. It is one left field, that one, isn't it?
Yeah, and he carries the movie. I mean, for 75% of the movie, it's just him and his dog, and he's just talking to himself, but it's entertaining as hell. So, yeah, great movie. All right, here comes another one for you. We're going to go, it's similar to top three, but you only get one answer per on this one. This is a new game, okay? This is called Favorite, where I give you a particular person and you give me, or type of movie, and you give me your favorite from that particular person. And again, it's off the top of your head. Okay?
Yeah.
Favorite Stephen King movie?
Christine.
Nice. Favorite
If you can clap it in.
Huh?
It's John Carpenter as well. When it was Stephen King, it was like
it's based on a Stephen King property, so
yeah.
Okay. Favorite Clive Barker property or film?
Hellraiser.
The original? Okay.
Yeah.
This one's for you, Alan, if you're in the audience. Favorite Hammer film?
Dracula, the first one. Christopher Lee.
Nice. Yeah, that'll make him happy. He's a
68.
Christopher Lee fanatic.
All right. Absolutely. Can't beat that one.
Favorite John Carpenter film?
Halloween.
Favorite Wes Craven film? I'm pretty sure I know what this is.
Last House on the Left.
Oh, okay.
Did you think Elm Street?
Yeah, I did. That's mine. And I'll tell you that after this, because that's my all-time favorite cinematic experience. Favorite
Elm Street was good.
Favorite David Cronenberg film?
Rabid.
Nice.
Love Rabid.
Late great Marilyn Chambers.
Oh yeah. A gem.
Yeah. Favorite Sam Raimi film?
Hands down, Evil Dead, the original.
The original?
Yeah. Love the original. Love that film. That's so many memories attached to that one, mate.
Favorite horror film? Not best. Favorite.
Dawn of the Dead. Original.
My man. That's my best.
Changed my life, that film. Changed my life.
John Carpenter's The Thing is my favorite, but Dawn of the Dead is the GOAT, in my opinion. It's just
Dawn of the Dead. Dawn of the Dead was what got me into horror film full-time properly. My sister's boyfriend brought it down and said, "Have you ever seen this?" And I was like, "No." I'd seen Halloween 1 and maybe Halloween 2 at that point, and Dawn of the Dead was the one that opened everything up. And I watched it and I was like, "Holy shit. It's the best thing I've ever seen."
Yeah. Night of the Living Dead's what started my love affair with horror. We talked about this because my brother my brother Greg was babysitting me when I was way too young to see that movie, and I'm glad he did. And that started it. But Dawn of the Dead was that forbidden fruit, because that was unlike, it wasn't banned like it was over there, but it wasn't rated X. What they did was, because they couldn't get an R rating, that they were going to get an X rating, it was just released unrated. Okay.
So you got the full version.
But the deal is that you had to be 18 to get in, period.
Right.
Okay. So it wasn't like a rated R movie where if you saw it with a parent, it was okay. Okay.
Right. Okay.
So it, by and large, was rated X. It just, they didn't give it an X rating because, again, at that time, especially over here in the States, X meant porn. That's what X meant. You know, it really did. The only X-rated movie, mainstream movie at that point that wasn't porn was Midnight Cowboy, which won the Oscar, believe it or not, a couple of years earlier. But that was the main difference. Now Day of the Dead, same thing. Okay. Yeah, nice. They released Day of the Dead, same thing, over here in the States, unrated. Okay. You had to be 18. I turned 18 the week before that fucking movie came out, so I was lucky and saw it opening weekend, my birthday weekend actually, and it was like, same thing with Reanimator that same summer. Reanimator was released unrated, and I drove to Chicago to see that. So all right, great. Yeah, getting back to the Elm Street thing real quick. Okay, I said it was like my all-time favorite.
Yeah,
I worked in a cinema at the time. As an usher and projectionist. And we used to change the movies on Thursday nights because Fridays is when the movies would open. So back then, the movies came on these little reels that you would splice together into one gigantic reel that you would put on a platter that would go through the projector and then rewind on another platter. That's how you did it. All right. Now it's all digital. All right.
Okay, yeah.
But anyways, I put that movie together. We left to close that night, and I left the side door open. I put like a brick in the door, and I snuck back in, went up to the projection booth, fired up the movie, and watched A Nightmare on Elm Street the night before it was released in an empty theater by myself at like 1 o'clock in the morning. And then had to go downstairs afterwards to shut the boiler off. Wow. You want to talk about being terrified for an hour and a half and then going down?
I've got a question for you. What was more terrifying, that scenario with Elm Street or your Salem's Lot with that little floating bastard?
Oh, Elm Street, without a doubt. Without a
really?
doubt. Yes.
Really?
I mean, dude, I'm telling the story right now and the hair on my arm is starting to stand up because, again, I remember that feeling. Number one, I think that movie is brilliant. Okay.
Oh, yeah, it is, no doubt.
The scene where the phone rings and you hear the voice, "I'm your boyfriend now, Nancy," and that fucking tongue came out. I literally screamed. Thank God I was the only one in the theater. That was the last movie I've seen that frightened me on any level. I mean, I've had jump scares and shit since then, but that was and a lot of it probably had to do with the circumstances involved. But to this day, that is the greatest theatrical experience of my life.
Yeah, I love Freddy Krueger in the first two. I love part one and I love part two, where he's dark, where he's mean.
Yeah.
I mean, Elm Street is pretty, I almost picked Elm Street, but I just remember the impact that Last House had on me. Elm Street was fucking terrifying. Let's get that out. Back then, when we watched Elm Street, it was the horror to watch, and it terrified everybody. But just the impact of Last House had on me was more severe, I think, than Elm Street.
No, fair enough. That's a totally good reason. But that'll bring us into this next question for you. I did this to Alan last time. Okay, poor Alan. This is called Only One Franchise Lives.
Oh,
I gave you a list of some franchises. You get to pick one, and the other ones have never existed. So it's not even like, I like this one. No, the other ones have never existed because of the one that you picked. Okay?
All right. Okay.
So, 5 horror franchises. We've got Friday the 13th. We've got Halloween. We've got Nightmare on Elm Street. We've got the Texas Chainsaw Massacre films. And we have the Evil Dead films.
Oh, Jim.
Only one survives. Everything else never existed. What's your pick?
Right, okay. Impulsive decision. I'm going to pick Friday the 13th. The reason being is that I'm not a fan of, as I said, of the Halloween sequels after part 2 or part 3. So I can leave them. I've grown to like different ones a little bit more, but they're not Michael Myers to me. So that's easy. Elm Street the same. I can get up to part 3 with Elm Street because he starts going MTV2 commercial. I like Dokken, the band, so that was cool. So I could get on board with up until part 3, and then that's it. Evil Dead. I'm a massive fan of the original, and that caused some shit when that come out as well with the video nasties. That tree scene. Mate, the headlines I could tell you over that was another episode. So I'm good with that. Evil Dead 1 and 2. The rest I'm like, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I've got a love-hate relationship. The original, love. The remake, love. The rest, I can take and leave. So it's got to be Friday the 13th because I do like more of the franchise of Jason than I do of the others.
What's your least favorite Jason movie? Or in the franchise, I should say.
Jason Goes to Hell, probably. As as much as it was different, and I've grown to appreciate it more as the years have gone. Because don't forget, I never saw the uncut version. I'd only saw the watered down version. So when all these deaths was put back in, I thought it gives it a new lease of life.
I know you're not a sci-fi guy, but did you ever see the
No.
movie The Hidden? Have you ever heard
Yes,
of it?
I did, and that was good with the alien that like the Ferraris and the sports cars.
Yes. That's
Brilliant.
the reason why I hate Jason Goes to Hell, because that movie rips
Yeah.
off it.
Well,
it really does.
Well, it was the body hopping thing. I had that on VHS. I had that on X Rental, and I like that because there was a couple of good rock songs in there as well, and I like some of the fast cars. So yeah, The Hidden. I would say that was more. I know it has like the alien body hoppy thing, but it was more action for me. The Hidden,
that's
but
one
it's
of those
good.
movies that hops genres. It's a horror movie.
Yeah,
it's a sci-fi movie. It's an action movie.
I could watch that. The Hidden's a good choice. That Alan, Jimmy. That's good. That's Alan. Yeah.
Yeah, I got
Brilliant,
that one. I love that movie. I love that. I've always loved that movie. But no, I totally agree with you on the Halloween thing. Okay. I love the first two, and I like Halloween 3 because it's different. Okay.
That's the way.
But all of the other sequels, all of them,
yeah.
I don't like any of them. I don't own any of them. Now, like an idiot, when the reboot series, not the Rob Zombie ones, because I don't like those either. All right. But the newest reboot trilogy came out. Okay.
Yeah.
I saw the first one and I thought it was decent for what it was. I didn't think it was great. Okay. But I thought it was decent. And then the other two I bought blindly because I figured, it was all some self-contained story. And Jesus Christ, that trilogy went south quick. People that bitch about that first one, it's still better than what came after it, because the second movie, if you can mute it and watch the uncut version, it's not bad. It's brutal. But that whole Evil Dies Tonight shit got old 2 seconds after it started. And Halloween Ends is a fucking abomination. So
with me, I was always disappointed, Jim. When Halloween 2 finished, and in the UK, that was it for Michael Myers. Halloween 3, that was it. And then it was years later then Halloween 4 came out.
Yeah.
By that time, with Jason had took over, Freddy was the. I always saw Michael Myers as like a bit of a Jason clone then, with the kills, the thumbs in the forehead, the ripping, the bigger guy with the hockey mask, the hockey guards under the shirt. I always thought it was a Jason clone, and it was never the same after Halloween 1 and 2.
No.
Because in Halloween 1 and 2, he was frightening. He was He was only, 5'10", slight build, and he was creeping and watching. It was terrifying. And that's where I like to keep Michael Myers as the all-time scary, creepy guy, nothing about. That's it. But with Jason, you knew where he was.
So well, Jason, I've always called the Friday the 13th franchise, and hear me out here, okay?
Yeah.
And I love the Friday the 13th franchise. I saw just about every one of them fucking at a theater when I was a kid. But to me, Friday the 13th is the McDonald's of horror.
Oh, yeah, it's the same hamburger.
You know what you're going to get.
It's the same hamburger.
Every movie is the same in a way that's comforting because, again, you know what you're going to get when you go to McDonald's. You know what you're going to get when you watch a Friday the 13th movie, okay?
Absolutely.
The only exception to that, okay, is Jason Goes to Hell and Jason X, okay? Now, Jason Goes to Hell, I've already said, I hate that fucking movie because it does. It rips off two superior movies, Friday the 13th and The Hidden. Jason X is a ridiculous total piece of shit that knows it's a ridiculous piece of shit and goes with it. And that's why I like that movie. It's fun. I will never say it's a good movie, but it's entertaining as hell.
It's my daughter's. It's my daughter's favorite is Jason X because
it's fun.
It's just out there. It laughs at itself. It doesn't take itself seriously, and it does. And it's just there. And Kane Hodder plays his best role as Jason, I think, in that one.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody gets upset, that they don't like Jason X because it's a dumb movie, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
But if they get upset because it's like, oh God, they turned this and that into a joke and this and that, it's like, dude, what are you talking about? It's fucking Friday the 13th. This ain't Shakespeare. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I would say, Jim, the first 4 Fridays were the best of the storytelling. It was like all joined in because 2, 3, and 4 took place in succession after that first. Right. After that first thing. And then he died, dead in part 4. They tried something different in part 5. Mixed results. People actually like it. I liked Tommy Jarvis's performance. I liked Tommy Jarvis in part 5. He was a badass in that. But then part 6, and then for a 6th sequel, which was quite a novelty back then, for a 6th sequel, Jason Lives was pretty cool. It tapped into a bit of humor and made light of a lot of the things, but it had one of the highest body counts. But then it started to get a bit more commercial with the Alice Cooper video and the soundtrack. It fitted in with the 80s
video, man. That whole movie's a Scooby-Doo cartoon. It is
basically
with the slapstick, with the fucking paintball guys and all that other bullshit.
The James Bond beginning,
it's got a high body count, but there ain't a drop of blood in that movie. That's the thing I don't like about it.
The James Bond beginning when he comes walking in and slashes like James. I thought, oh, well, you knew what you were in for straight away.
Oh yeah, and again, I don't have a problem. I mean, personally, I think that movie's a little bit overrated, but I still like it. Okay, but compared to what came after that, with the exception of the New Blood, which I think is underrated. Okay, Jason versus Carrie. Say what you will. Okay. Jason's back to being kind of scary in that movie, and the movie itself is entertaining. I mean, it really is. The battle between the two of them at the end, it's ridiculous, especially when her dead dad comes out and grabs him. I mean, what the fuck did that come from? But other than that, man, there's a little moment in that movie that I think is the most chilling thing in the entire series, okay? The guy that you think is going to be like the main guy with her, who's looking for his sister the whole time, okay?
Yeah.
The two of them are down in the basement with Jason, okay? They think that he's down. That she comes out, and about that time, he wakes up again and grabs her, and he's like, run, run. And then the last thing you hear is, he's killing me. He's killing me. And you don't see it, but you hear it. Yeah. And in that moment, it's like, wow, this is actually kind of scary. You know, I mean, it's, you know, it's, I like that movie a lot. And a lot of people give that movie shit. So
final chapter, yeah, it was a good one. Good one.
Final chapter is my favorite out of all of them.
Yeah, that's a good one. That one, very dark. That one.
Corey Feldman killing, but the fucking dance that Crispin Glover does in that movie is worth the price of admission alone.
And again, I was quite a fan of that band called Lion. They did the song that he's dancing to, "Love Is a Lie" by Lion. They also did a song in a Charlie Sheen movie, which was a car one, which I like, was called Wraith, and they did Never Surrender in that song as well. That was a good one.
Real quick, going back to the comments, Dracula, Prince of Darkness is my favorite horror. Yeah, that's a great movie. Larry says, really? Dawn is the GOAT for sure, but tied with Night for me. The Thing is Carpenter's masterpiece movie. Definitely his best movie. It's my favorite. And it's my favorite movie.
I actually really like The Fog as well. It gets swept under with the Halloween craze.
Dude, very few directors have had a run that like Carpenter had.
Nobody. I can remember. I could remember no one.
It's just unbelievable. And
it was one after another.
Most of those movies were not financially successful back in the day. Okay, they weren't.
No.
And now they're all classics. I mean, The Thing was a flop. I mean, it was a big time flop. And
that movie, I remember it was banned. It was on Section 3 video nasty list. The Thing was banned.
Chester says, Kurt Russell or Sylvester Stallone? Which one do you prefer?
I go Sly Stallone because of Rocky. Loved Rocky, the character of Rocky. Loved Rocky.
I will go with Kurt Russell because of Snake Plissken. Because
see, I mean, you know what? And I like Stuntman Mike, Death Proof. I thought he was amazing in that. Loved that one.
I love both of those guys, but Kurt Russell, I mean, I've had a heterosexual man crush on since I was a kid. So
well, I thought he was amazing. Big Trouble in Little China. I can't. Kurt Russell's a legend. I've nothing away from that guy.
Larry says that he would pick the Friday the 13th franchise as well. Chester would pick Halloween.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Alan says if they would have just called it Season of the Witch and left Halloween out of the title, it would have done absolutely.
That's what the buzz was happening in the UK when they first released Part 3, Halloween 3. Everybody expected Myers, but for a young kid that I was at the time, I didn't expect to see Myers because he burned to go. His eyes shot out in Part 2. There's no way he's coming back from that. So when it was all the masks, everybody was hating Halloween 3 then. And me as a kid, I actually liked it, Jim. I was like, yeah. I liked it. It was different. It was good. And I think it's still my favorite Carpenter score out of all of them is Halloween 3. I love that score that Carpenter did.
Other than that fucking jingle, Silver Shamrock.
Oh, Tommy Lee Wallace with the time, kid.
Shit in my fucking sleep, you know?
I used to play that to my sister all the time on the headphones.
Andy's here. Hey, buddy, what's up?
Andy.
And and the true villain of that film is Bernie Lomax of Carrie versus Jason. Yeah, he's the psychiatrist, the guy that played Bernie in Weekend of Bernie's.
Oh my God! Yeah, he throws the mum in front of the blade. Yeah, yep. Classic. Jack Burton.
Let me tell you what Jack Burton has to say about the subject.
I always liked David Lopan. I thought James Hong was amazing.
Oh, James Hong's fucking awesome.
Love that guy. You're not here to get it, Mr. Person.
Wow, we are almost at 2 hours already. We're at 1 hour 50. This has been great.
Mate, I tell you, it was the same when we did Salem's Lot, Jim. It was the same when we got in a room with Salem's Lot.
Yeah. Okay, got a couple more for you, though. This one I got to ask. This one I ask every guest. It's a little game I called Overrated, Underrated. You come up with one movie. You don't necessarily have to hate it, okay? But you just think it's overrated. And by the flip side of that is one that most people either have never heard of it or they don't like it. And you're like, no, you're looking at it wrong. This movie's great. You know, so what would be your overrated and underrated films?
Overrated. Oh, shit. I would skip genres. Overrated, I would say Terminator 2.
Really? Okay, and why?
Overrated because at that time, all the good work that Schwarzenegger had done in the original, it was dark, it was quite foreboding, and I could see where people thought it was a horror film to a degree, the way it was. There was no emotion from the guy. The second one, it was just like watching any other Arnie film. I thought he'd loosened up too much, and I thought it was overblown with the Guns N' Roses and all the... I just thought it was a bit too much of a radical change from killing everybody in the first one to wounding people in the second one. I mean, he's a Terminator. Even from the get-go where he gets the guy's bike, he had a sense of humor. When he kills one of the punks in the original Terminator, there's no sense of humor there. You know, he got Bill Paxton and he got the Night Slasher from Cobra. He was Thompson. He was one of the punks as well. When he goes into Terminator 2, from the straight away, I'll need your clothes, your bike, your motorcycle. And he walks in with the glasses, and you think, nah, the Terminator would have just killed them bikers.
No,
he just killed them.
That's a fair criticism. I mean, the director's cut of that movie kind of like explains that that they reprogrammed them before they sent them back. You know, this one, and part of it is the more time he spends with humans to start acting like a human. So
right, okay, so that explained it.
Version. So I mean,
I never knew any of that.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean.
So I totally get that criticism.
Yeah, I because everyone was shoving it down my throat at the time. It's Terminator 2, and I thought I actually prefer the original. It was more simple. Enough. It was more simple. It was just a simple story.
Now flip it. How about underrated?
Underrated.
You just think is great, and most people either think it's no good or they just don't think it's good enough. Let's put it that way.
I'm going to go for a Wes Craven film here. There's a lot of flood in your brain right now, Jim. Some classics, some unknown, but I'm going to go with something that people might not get it. I'm really wrestling with two of them here, but I'm going to go with Shocker. Wes Craven's Shocker.
Nice.
I think that film is so underrated because its premise, it was like, oh, a dream's like Nightmare on Elm Street. No, it had something extra. It had a nice element to it.
I'm right here. I didn't go anywhere.
It looked really, it just looked amazing. And I mean, the soundtrack. The soundtrack
one of the best soundtracks
was one of the
ever.
best rock soundtracks ever. It had everything on that soundtrack. I love the soundtrack. Yep. And it was the atmosphere in that film. You sensed the sense of loss when he lost his girlfriend and she had the locket and he goes to the lake and he's trying to find the locket in the lake. I just love it. Shocker. I think Shocker's so underrated.
Larry, Shocker, my man. It is. It's a fun movie.
Also, a bit of trivia for people that might not know, but my favorite Alice Cooper's guitarist was Kane Roberts. He did Constrictor and Rage Your Fist and Yell. Constrictor was the Friday the 13th stuff. Rage Fist and Yell, they had Freddy Krueger on, but he plays a road worker in Shocker. He's the big road worker. I'll be like this, body, Jonathan, and he throws the necklace into the thing with a picker. That was Kane Roberts. Cool dude.
Yeah, he looked like a fucking rock star type guy.
Nate, and he was my favorite guitarist of Alice Cooper. Still my favorite guitarist of Alice Cooper. And on Instagram, I was lucky enough, to follow him on Instagram and send him some messages. And he's had a few conversations with me about those things, which he's a cool guy, you know what I mean? So, nice. Yeah, Shocker. For me, Jim, Shocker was so underrated. I expected it to be as big as Elm Street. When Elm Street made a splash, it just didn't. People just crapped on it and said it was rubbish. And I was like, what are you... This is an amazing film. Why is it not getting... You know what I mean? It was the end of the 80s. I get it. And people...
I saw it opening night. I had the poster. I went to a horror movie convention about 6 months after it already came and went and got the theatrical one sheet and had it for years. Yep. No more Mr. Nice Guy. You know, I mean, it's... Yeah. It's not my favorite Wes Craven movie, but it's entertaining as hell. I mean, it really is.
I think it's criminal. There was a whole host of films that I could say is underrated, but that sprung to mind because it never did the business. You know, some of the other ones I was going to mention have built up over time, and they've got a cult following, like Escape from New York and Assault on Precinct 13 and Pet Sematary.
That was a fantastic answer. Because that's the spirit that I was looking for. Because again, people that have seen Shocker, by and large, like it if they're in the right frame of mind, I guess, if they're looking at it the right way. Okay. But it's one of those movies that either people have never seen or they just kind of, it looks like, that. And it's like, no, that movie's in it. It's almost like a spoof of itself. It doesn't take itself seriously, and that's what makes it fun. A lot of humor in that. Lots of humor in it.
There's a fine line in that one, Jim, between heartbreaking, viciousness, and humor, because Horace Pinker has got a wicked side to him. He's pure evil. He's a nasty piece of work, where he's got that sense of humor where he does certain things where you go, okay, and you laugh, which brings it back, dials it back down so you can laugh with him. You know what I mean? But the very first fight that Peter Berg has with him on that rooftop, he jumps across the thing and he does that flying drop kick into the door.
Yeah.
And he's knocking shit out of Horace Pinker. And then Horace Pinker just gets him in as like a suplex and slams him. Elbow drop it. I thought, mean son of a bitch. Yeah. It's a physical film. And I loved it.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Yeah, I
mean,
it starts off like a serious horror film, like a serious slasher film. And then about 3/4 of the way through, it turns into a goofy comedy, especially when he's chasing them through TV land.
With the TVs.
But again, at that point, it's like, it's a fun movie. It's just fun.
It's the humor, isn't it? It's the humor. It's the humor. So I'd say Shocker, definitely. Out of all of them.
We are getting to the 2-hour mark. And like I said, we could talk all day long, but I always ask every question, or I always ask the guest this at the end before I get into my wrap up business here. But somehow you are trapped on a desert island, Davey. You have no idea how you got there. But you do have a TV and a Blu-ray player and 3 movies.
Is it on wheels? Is it on
No,
wheels?
it's secure. Okay. But you've got 3 movies to keep you
Right.
occupied until the rescue team arrives. What are those 3 movies?
Friday the 13th Part 2, Dawn of the Dead, and Bruce Lee's Fist of Fury.
Friday the 13th Part 2. You mean Paul? Paul?
There's someone in the fucking room.
Paul?
Baghead.
Now, your TV takes a shit. However, your Blu-ray player is hooked up to a stereo system and that still works. And you happen to have 3 CDs. Remember those? At your disposal. They can be anything. They can be studio albums, live albums, greatest hits albums, soundtracks, whatever. What are your 3 Desert Island albums?
Shit. News of the World by Queen.
Nice.
News of the World by Queen. The second one would be son of a bitch. News of the World by Queen. I would say Rage Your Fist and Yell, Alice Cooper. Love that one. And I'm going to throw a soundtrack in. Let's just keep it movies. I'll throw a soundtrack. Christine, the soundtrack to Christine, the Carpenter score.
Nice. The score?
Yeah, the score. Not the rock and roll stuff, which is cool, but the score. Yeah. Christine.
It's got a great
something different.
You know what, Peppa? You can't polish a toy.
I think I thought Christine was a little bit underrated as well. I always thought that should have had a little bit more love. But yeah, so an album by Queen, an album by Alice. I could have gone on forever with Sabbath and Judas Priest and Motörhead and all those things I listen to. But I wanted to just throw a movie soundtrack where I could sit there with my headphones on and fly away. And I think Christine, it was either Halloween 3 or Christine, but Christine picked it for the transformation scene.
Nice. Well, before we wrap this up, I do have to do a little bit of business here. Okay. So real quickly, I'm going to go ahead and jump ahead for the schedule that we got coming up on this show. Okay. Because I've already got the next 3 shows planned out. And next week's show is going to be the first of a new series of shows I'm starting. Up until this point, every guest I have had on this show has had a YouTube channel. And that's great. And there's a hell of a lot more people that I want to either have back on this show or on for the first time from YouTube. But I wanted to expand a little bit further than that and include I'm actually got feelers out to a couple of people. We're talking professional critics or people that are in the movie industry or people that I just talk to on social media outside of YouTube. And I figured I'm going to broaden my horizons and have some of those people appear on this show. So the first one is going to be on 2 weeks from today, episode 28. On the 25th will be a guy by the name of Ray Sidman. Ray was a pop culture journalist for years, and now he is a college professor. And I talked to Ray on Blue Sky. We met on Blue Sky through a mutual friend, and he actually lives in my neck of the woods, and we haven't met personally, but this guy knows his shit when it comes to movies and pop culture in general. So it's going to be fun to pick his brain for a couple of hours. So that'll be in 2 weeks. So I hope you guys will join me for that, even though it's not a YouTube person.
Yeah.
Then episode 29, August 8th, my guest will be Jen, a.k.a. the Villainous Vixen. And on the last episode in August, on the 22nd, which would be episode 30th, I will have a returning guest back from the UK again, Roy from Blue Roy Movies. And Roy is a great guy. Everybody knows Roy. So hopefully you guys can join me for one or all of those upcoming shows. And I will leave those links as we get closer. And because I'm a whore, I have to plug my other show, Talking Movies with Sean, Kenny, and Jim. And this is going to be kind of a special month for this as well, because this coming Tuesday, which is the 14th, our topic is going to be called Music Mix Tape. We are picking our favorite musical moments from movies, whether it's a needle drop or an original song or whatever. Something that you hear a piece of music and you immediately think of a movie. That's going to be the topic. And our guest is going to be Lori, who is Sean's wife. She's been on the show a couple of times and she's fantastic. So that will be this coming Tuesday on the 14th. Now, normally we do that show every 2 weeks, but not this time, because our mutual friend Carlos from the UK happens to be off work for a week on our off week. And we want to have Carlos on our show, God damn it. So we are going to do a special show on the 21st with our good friend Carlos as our guest. And the topic is going to be our top 5 Sylvester Stallone films, not including Rocky or Rambo.
Rambo.
We are going to rank those movies separately, or those franchises separately. Okay?
I've got mine now.
Okay. But that show will be on the 21st. And that one, like all of the Talking Movies shows, is always at either Movie Assault, which is Sean's channel, or the Talking Movies 2024 channel. And before I get ahead of myself, we are doing one more show on the 28th, which would be the normal show that we would do every 2 weeks. 2 weeks. That one is going to be Drive-In Memories. Our favorite memories of drive-ins. Not necessarily the movies that we saw there, but just the memories we had of going to the drive-ins. Unfortunately, a lot of people over in Europe have never experienced the drive-in, or a lot of the younger generation hasn't done that as well. Not only did I grow up in one, basically going every summer as a child, I worked in one for a summer, that glorious summer of 1986. So our very special guest for that episode is going to be Corey, a.k.a. the Rat Bastard from Wilkie's Movies and Music. And that's going to be a great show. Yep. Yeah, I called him the Rat Bastard on a show
Rat Bastard. Love
6 months ago, and it just took off from there, you know. But yeah, he wears that shit like a badge of honor. And
yeah, what a cool guy.
Great. Corey's a great guy. But anyways, that show is going to be on the 28th. And again, all 3 of those shows start at 7 o'clock Eastern time, which would be midnight in the UK. So that's why we're doing that special show for Carlos. But again, I'm going to be leaving links to all 6 of those shows on my channel, like I always do. And last and certainly not least, I want to thank Davey here for being a great guest. You were fantastic. I didn't
bore you then, mate.
We're at 2 hours and 8 minutes. We could talk another 2 hours. I mean, it's just, you've been a fantastic guest. I mean it when I say I really want you to come back and do this again. So I hope you will do so. And everybody who has not already done so, please get your ass over to Davey's channel. I'm going to leave a link to his channel and my little community post that I always do. But before we wrap it up, I want to give you the opportunity to plug anything that you've got coming up on your channel, or if you have any other kind of collaborations coming up. The floor is yours, sir.
Well, thanks a lot, Jim, for having you. It's been amazing. I mean, 2 hours just gone like that again. I mean, we could talk forever. I mean, so much love for you, mate, and everybody there that's embraced me. My channel's about, obviously, if not, it's about the old school VHS, the video nasties, and them. I'm doing a nice series of them. Me and Carlos do our Horror Movie Memories podcast. We talk about certain movies that we've got loads of memories and nostalgia. We put that out there. We're going to keep doing more of that. I'm going to keep doing more of the VHS because that really gets people talking and gets people out there. Yeah. Got a couple of collaborations coming up. We've got, I'm going to spoil this now for everybody, but we've got the original Hills of Ice coming up as our next podcast, and we've got a guy called Paul Brumhorror who we're going to ask him and maybe his wife to come on as well with me and Carlos, and so that's coming up in the future. And apart from that, I'm just going to keep on just watching people like you, Jim, because it's always an education, sir. I'm just made up and just in a really great place right now. So yeah, thank you so much for inviting me.
No.
I will be on. I will be on any time you want me on, and I can bore you or make you laugh with the rolling TV on wheels and shit like that.
That visual is just
being raided by the police and anything like that. You just ask, and I'll come on, mate. And I'll
never a dull moment at Davey's childhood home.
Never a dull moment on my channel. There's always some memory because I can flip from one story to another with being ADHD. I can just get sidetracked and I can start telling you about the Golden Monkey Chinese restaurants and people in there getting raided in the Golden Monkey. Shogun Assassin was put on Section 3 of the Japanese. Shogun Assassin was put on there. And one of the fellas was getting raided, and he was in Golden Monkey Chinese restaurant having his Singapore fried rice.
Oh Jesus!
Golden Monkey.
Shogun Assassin.
Shogun Assassin got raided.
I saw Shogun Assassin because of Kill Bill. Because
Sleepy
the little girl
time.
says it's sleepy time. She wants to watch, and I was like, "What the hell is this show?" And then during the pandemic, I was on eBay, and I saw Shogun Assassin. Okay. And loved it, and then fell into the rabbit hole of Lone Wolf and Cub, and I own all of them on the Criterion set. Love them. Those movies are so much fun. They are so much fun. So, but no, Davey, this has been an absolute joy. I cannot thank you enough. And yeah, I will definitely.
We didn't even talk about Salem's Lot.
Yeah, I know. That's okay. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff that we're still going to talk about. I mean, I got through maybe half of my shit, but that's okay. That means that it was a good conversation. So
it means I got to come back again.
I will definitely have you back again. And lastly, before I leave, I want to thank everybody who showed up in the comments today, whether you left a comment or just stopped in and popped in and out, or if you're watching on replay. Thank you so much. Your support means everything. So thank you so much. The show gets better every week because of all of you with the comments and the questions that you leave. It's always great. And again, we want to mention one more time tonight on Texas's channel. Please head over there if you get a chance for his watch-along in celebration of his friend Moonbeam's birthday. So please,
happy birthday, Moonbeam.
And there's Texas right there. And yeah, that's Texas Hardcore. He's one of my best friends on YouTube. So please, by all means, show him some love. So, but anyways, guys, it's 2 hours, 15 minutes. So I think we're going to call it a day. Go England today in the World Cup. Good luck for anybody who's into that. I'm not, but
no,
whatever.
Me neither.
But, the U.S. is out, so go England. So, But anyways, excellent show, Davey. Thank you again, and thank you, everybody. We'll catch you on the next one. Take care, everybody.
Take care.